So welcome. A special edition of Miracles, Magic, and Coffee. My name is Ralph Havens, and usually we talk about helping people get over autoimmune conditions and also anxiety conditions. And recently, as a lot of you know, I've been working with entrepreneurs to help them crush anxiety and what's called imposter syndrome, basically the inner stuff that's in the way. And I met Joshua Peters fairly recently, and we really connected because we have a lot of similar ideas of how we help people. He also helps people, entrepreneurs and other people, get over anxiety and what's called imposter syndrome and all those words that entrepreneurs use that basically stops them from getting their work out to the world. And we both started in a very similar way. So I've been very attracted to the type of work he does since I was in college, actually before that. But yeah, so I want to introduce Joshua Peters, and thank you for being on.
Thanks, Ralph. I have my coffee, so we're all set to go.
Great, awesome, man. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, I got my my little boy Ben.
Nice.
Like he's a couple days old. So yeah, before we start, just introduce yourself, and then I want to tell a little story about how why I'm so excited to meet you.
Great. So my name is Joshua Peters. I help, like Ralph, like you said, I love to help mission-driven entrepreneurs to just slash their anxiety and do it quickly so that they can they can make confident decisions and really live the full potential that they know that they have. So ultimately, so they can make a difference in the world.
Yeah.
I call myself like a coach. I use hypnosis. I use NLP, and really what we're doing is we're doing this neurological change work. So everything I do is based around changing the way our brain is reacting.
Yeah, that's why I'm so excited to talk to you, and we both come at this from similar and also different ways to do this. And you know, so many entrepreneurs, the people I like to work with are kind of like the people you like to work with. Basically, people that are going to go for it and they're not going to give up. And it's like, I'm going to figure this stuff out. And a lot of it is figuring out, like, well, how do you reach the people that are looking for you, whatever type of entrepreneur you're doing, and how you can help people, and how do you write words that resonate with people, and all the particulars about websites and stuff like that. But you and I both know that 90% plus is this inner stuff, like the anxiety, the fear, because when you go to put your work out to the world, it's kind of scary because, you know, people are then going to say, hey, wow, who is he to do that? Or who is she to do that? And that same kind of talk going on in our heads. So I'm really excited to hear about that. And the people I like working with are kind of like the people you like working with, the people that are going to figure this out. And they're not going to give up. And, you know, we love working with people like that because things can change so fast. And so many of us entrepreneurs, we're in that space of we're going to figure this out. And yeah, you can have anxiety, and you can use courage, and you can use willpower and tenacity and an accountability coach, and just like push through all the stuff and keep trying after each failure and keep making little changes and start to make some changes. But if we can change this inner stuff, it's so big. So I want to tell a little story real quickly, because when I was, I've always been attracted to this kind of thing. Like, how do you change this? How do you heal? I mean, when I was a little kid, I read the Bible all the time because, like, this Jesus guy, how does he do this? And like stuff happens. And then in college, I had a crazy thing where I just loved ice cream and I ate it every day. But I was a runner and I wanted to not be chubby. And so, and I wasn't chubby, but I actually went to a hypnotherapist. I paid him money, which I didn't have, and student loan. And I said, just make it so I don't eat ice cream ever again. And he says, well, that's probably not a great idea. So he kind of worked with me a little bit and helped me. It was my first time to start to use like mindset things. And then I met these people named the Barrises. I forgot their first, and him and his wife's name in San Diego, the Barris Foundation. And they had all these tapes of hypnosis. And I would do it.
Mm-hmm.
They told me to do every morning. I'd do a 45-minute tape. Every evening, a 45-minute tape, because I had severe anxiety. And it helped a lot. And I kept going down this road. And then later I told you about the osteopath that used dream therapy with hypnosis. And so it's been one of my interests because I know there's some glitches, and you can talk about like, oh, the past and how you were raised, all this, but how do you change that? So can you tell us a little bit about how did you get into this kind of stuff? This,
Yeah.
this hypnosis.
Well, kind of like you, Ralph, I've had an interest in hypnosis and personal development for a long time. My interest in hypnosis started when I was 13, and I found a book in my school library that was a self-hypnosis book. It just fascinated me, and I learned to put myself into a relaxed state. I basically learned some pretty simple self-hypnosis processes, and really carried that on with me for a long time. When I was about in my 20s, my early 30s, I found myself really struggling. I had dug a hole, and I hadn't really created a life, but I had let life happen to me. I felt like I was a victim of the universe, everything it was doing to me, and found myself in a bad marriage, in a job that didn't feed my soul, and really stuck kind of in a place that I didn't want to be at. Like everything just not what I wanted. I started to, I had this epiphany that the only meaning that any of this stuff has is the meaning that we give to it. And so I started making my own meaning. I started deciding to take control of my life. And that I tried a lot of things, a lot of different processes. I did a lot of personal development. I did eventually I got out of that marriage. I found a job that was in line with my values, which were of creating a better world for people, and making doing what I can to make the world a better place for my kids. Eventually rediscovered hypnosis again. I realized if I could make a living, because I was working corporate at the time, and if I could make a living helping other people shift their life in a lot quicker of a way than it took for me, maybe not even getting into that hole in the first place, then that would be the most empowering way I could possibly live. And so that's what I started to do. And I did the training. I started seeing clients, and really, and what's so amazing about hypnosis is there's so much to learn. Like, even with what you do, it's a never ending learning. There's always new techniques, new ways of believing, of thinking, of experimenting and speaking. Like hypnosis is all about language and how the words that we say create the life that we have. So I get to be a lifelong learner. I get to keep learning new things and becoming even better at my craft.
Yeah. What do you think, like you had a life that wasn't working, and you had this yearning to have a different life for you and your kids and your family, and anything else that was driving this? Like, what do you think to have this life where you were helping other people do this? Anything else about like what you were looking to accomplish with this way of, like, you could have just been in corporate and made a lot of money and just done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why was it this version for you think?
Yeah. When I was in that stuck place and started getting out of it, my life started to get clear that it was about creating freedom and empowerment. Like those are kind of the two key things. The story of my life, I guess, is creating freedom, creating empowerment. And so, yeah, money is nice because it helps you have freedom. You get to make choices and stuff, but it's not the end all be all of everything. There's plenty of people with a lot of money that have crappy lives, and
Yeah.
I don't want to be one of those people. I want to lift people up. I want to help. I want to support people to become their best self, just as I get to become my best self. That's what I get to do by doing that. I get to become who I really am, feel
Yeah.
I'm kind of meant to be.
And I know you've helped a lot of people, so maybe we'll be able to talk without divulging secrets of people, some successes that you've had. Because that can help people realize, oh my goodness, that could be me too. Um, you mentioned NLP, and that's always like a magic word. I've never taken an actual class that I know of, but I know a lot of my people that I've worked with, coaches and people, have studied that and use it, and it's all about language. And so how did, I mean, that's kind of a side note because it's like we're talking hypnosis, but you do so many things. How did you get into that, or what is that?
Yeah, it's a great question. When I first was trained in hypnosis, I worked with a mentor for about a year, and he taught me so much stuff. And I started practicing after that year, started seeing clients, and I noticed over that first kind of year and a half that some of the most I noticed the things that worked the best for people were these kind of simple processes that I would just lead them through. I eventually learned that those were actually NLP processes, things that you are taught in the NLP world.
Huh.
So I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And I started researching more about NLP and what it's all about. So at its core, there's these two guys in the 70s who were really curious about how, about the success that people have making changes for others. And they learned who was the best at that, who is the best at helping people get to a change in their life.
Oh.
And they found 3-4 people and started modeling them. So they met them, they watched what they do, and they broke it down into its core, into the basic core elements of exactly what they do.
Wow.
And that's essentially what NLP became. It became all the best ways to help people make changes in their life. So that's what NLP is. And then it's evolved then over time, but really it's hypnosis, but done in a more conversational way.
Interesting.
And since then, like I said, it's evolved, and it's constantly evolving. There's always refinements being done and things being made. And it really just helps you meet a person, a client, to take them from, where they're stuck to where they want to go in a way that works for them. It's kind of specific to them.
Yeah, so it's conversational, and then hypnosis is those deeper states of you can talk about that in a minute. What was there a point when you had an epiphany, or when something happened for you or a client, or something happened? What got you where you were like, oh man, this hypnosis, NLP, and anything else you want to say that it was like the thing that made you go, oh, this is your version of how you help people? Did something happen? How did you come to say, this is my version of this, how I do this?
Yeah, well, like I said, it's been with me for a long time. When I was 13, I was studying it, and it showed up multiple times throughout my life as it was kind of presented to me as, hey, maybe you should learn about this. And every time that happened, I was not in the right, either in the right mindset or physically in the right space to do that. I didn't. There's not a lot of places where you can do that training unless you do it online. And I wanted to do it in person. I wanted to have that mentorship. That's how I learned best. So I wasn't able to do it until I moved from that small town that I had been stuck in to the Twin Cities, which was in 2014.
Oh,
And that was when I had the opportunity to do the training. So it took me being in the right place, the right time, in the right mind space to finally jump in. And funny enough, when I was, trying to decide, is this the right thing for me?
yeah.
My wife had me walk through. She said, close your eyes and imagine that you're in the future doing this thing. And how does that feel? So she walked me into a hypnosis process, and neither one of us actually knew that that's what she was doing, but she did. And I was like, yes, this is it. This is exactly what I want to be doing, is empowering people through language and through imagination, and with a little bit of a magic feeling to it, because I've always been interested in that sort of stuff. And so I jumped in, and when I jump into something, I just kind of go
Yeah.
and see what I can do with it.
Wow. So 2014, that is such an interesting time, because I've seen this from a few entrepreneurs. I mean, Russell Brunson was at $0 and wondering if he was going to go to jail around Christmas, around that time. And we were right at that time about to live outside for a year and blowing through $100,000 and wondering how the heck do I have an online healing practice? I've never done this. I've always had it in person. And I can't recall the other versions, but 2014 seems to, and if people don't know Russell Brunson, his company now is $300 million a year, and I use his software to make my websites. So, and then 2014, you guys were in a new city and you were visualizing your future, but how was life at that time? Like, were you guys, did you have a job? Were you like,
Yeah. 2014 was a big year of change for me. So up until then, I was living in a small town in Wisconsin, and I have 5 kids, and my youngest daughter was just going into high school. Now, at the time, their mom and I live in the same town and very close by, so they could kind of go to either place. And I was living in the family home where they had always lived. So it was a big deal for me to decide to move 4 hours away, no longer be 50% dad. I told my work at the time, I'm going to move to the Twin Cities, and I would love to keep working for you if we can figure out how to make that happen. And so I started working remote for them.
wow.
My family has a cabin in that area. So what I did was I would be here in the Twin Cities for a week. I would go back down there for a week in the office. My kids would come to the cabin. So we were able to kind of keep a relationship. It was really important for me, for them to know I wasn't leaving them.
Yeah.
But it was hard. It was really hard. And so I had this job that I knew I wanted to get out of.
Yeah.
I had moved up to the Twin Cities. It was a relatively new relationship that I had. And I think we were about a year into our relationship. And so there was a lot of changes that were happening.
But something was driving you, it sounds like you made a big jump. Um, and you did this visualization thing. So you were using hypnosis for yourself. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe some stories without divulging particulars about people, or just something to let us know, like, how does this work? Like, not to say how does it work? Like, I don't even know how Zoom and wireless communication works. I have no idea how it works, but I push a couple of buttons most of the time and it works. So we don't even know why it works or how it works, but maybe some of the things that you've seen, like what have you seen that you go, oh my God, that was awesome. Something shifted for somebody or something shifted for you, or.
I can give you some examples of some of the clients that I've worked with. I worked with, let's call her Beth. That's not her name, but we'll just call her Beth for sake of giving her a name. And Beth she's an entrepreneur. She's got a couple of companies. She runs a music school for a vocal school. And she also runs a band. And it's an interesting band because it's got a huge cast of musicians and multiple guitar players, multiple bass players. And so they can actually send out different members to fill roles. Anyway, it's kind of like a business. They can do multiple gigs in the same night because they have people to cover it. So if that kind of makes sense. So that's the kind of business she has. So she's super busy, as you can imagine, running those 2 companies. And what happens with her is Beth doesn't take care of herself. She just gets into business mode and eats junk food because that is what kind of makes her feel good in the moment when she can't take a break.
Yeah.
Now, so we did a lot of work around, she came because of anxiety. Anxiety is one of the big things, you know, it shows up as overwhelm, shows up as procrastination a lot of times, that insecurity, I lost the track of the word you used, but
Yeah, imposter syndrome, like
imposter syndrome. Yeah, thank you. It shows up as imposter syndrome. It shows up as all these things, but in the end, it's this anxiety that's kind of back there. So she came for anxiety, and right away she was feeling. She felt really confident after our first session, because one of the first things that I do is I give my clients tools.
Oh.
Tools so that they have control. The biggest thing is that they feel out of control. So if they have even a little bit of control, that makes such a huge difference for them. So she started with that, which was just really helping her a lot. And then she had an epiphany during a session. And like you said, I'm not going to try to describe the whole thing that we did, but in the middle of the session, she had this realization that when she was a kid, she had come home from school and it had been a tough day. She had been picked on, or I don't even remember if she got picked on or if somebody said something, and she had taken it internally. She had made something up about it. And her mom said, "Here, sit down, have a piece of cake. That will make you feel better." And that was all it took. For her, having a piece of cake makes you feel better. That was a rule that became implanted in her mind. And that's what she would do. She would eat junk food to feel better. So we were able to release that and basically have her connect with that younger her and actually like tell her what she really needed to know back then, so that she didn't have to make up that thing about life, which isn't true. Like, you don't need cake to feel better. And her mom didn't really mean all you have to do is eat cake to feel better. It was
just words that can't.
It just happened at the time.
Yeah.
So that's an example of how
And
just one thing being told to you can affect you throughout your whole life.
yeah, and so you use hypnosis and NLP conversation to shift things. If somebody knows why they have a problem, like, oh, well, look at my dad, or look at what happened. A lot of times that doesn't seem to change it. It's just like now they know why they're screwed up. But you go into the part that a different part of the of their being. It's not like they just kind of like go, oh yeah, that's why I'm screwed up. Oh well, I'm gonna keep eating. Like, tell us a little bit about
right.
that, because so many people like, yeah, I have the wrong thoughts in my head and I have the wrong beliefs, and I know it's because that's what happened to my dad or my mom or whatever, or when they did this or this happened. They kind of know the basic story of why these issues are in place. Like, you know, but then you did something, you do something else with that, right?
We resolve it. That's the key. Is if you don't, I mean, you can know it, but if it's still there in that, if that program is still running, you can know it's there, but the program is still running.
Yeah.
You have to dissolve the program.
Yeah.
And there's different ways to do that, that are, I mean, essentially we're using imagination, we're using focus, we're going through a process.
Yeah.
I could do a quick process right now with you, Ralph, and anybody else who's watching, whether it's live or whether it's recorded, if you'd like.
It's on. Yeah, absolutely. So so I mean, what's cool about this for people watching is you might want to I'll time travel back and say in the beginning, you might want to test how you feel, like walk around, look at how you move, see how you feel. How does the world look to you? Kind of make an intention of what you might like to shift. And then and after this this time with me and Joshua, just retest your neck motion, your back, you're walking around, see if something's different. And then throughout the day, just notice what's different, because you don't have to know like why something works, like a cell phone, but if something changes, you might want to count that as a miracle and go, oh wow, that is different. And your mind might kind of go, but that's impossible. They were just talking.
Yeah.
So just I encourage people to just notice what you notice and notice what's different after whatever is going to happen right now. So yes, I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, and thank you, Ralph. That's exactly right. So this is what I call a 2-minute transformation.
Oh
It's
my
super
God.
simple, and
Okay.
all you have to do is listen to my words and follow along. So just start, just like Ralph said, just kind of put in your mind maybe a fear, maybe a worry, maybe an anxiety feeling that has been bothering you. And you don't have to, uh, you can just let it go once you've got it in your mind, but just have that intention of what is the issue in your life. And then now just watch what I do. I don't want you to do this yet. So follow, first I'm going to show you what to do, and then you can follow along. So not yet, but in a moment. So not yet, but in a moment, you're going to put your hands together like this. Not yet, but in a moment. You'll have your hands together like this. You'll point your fingers up and then about an inch apart. So the key elements of hypnosis, of NLP, of all this neurological change work is focus and imagination. You'll focus on the space between your fingers, and then you'll imagine magnets in the tips of your fingers that do what magnets do. Pull your fingers together closer and closer until they touch. So Ralph and everybody out there, I don't want you to push them together. I don't want you to pull them apart. What I want you to do is to allow them just to do whatever they naturally do. Make sense? Great. So start by sitting or standing up straight, your feet flat on the floor, and have your hands out in front of you. Now clasp them together nice and tight. Put those pointer fingers up, then move them about an inch apart. Now focus on the space between your fingers and just imagine magnets pulling those fingers closer and closer together, easily and effortlessly. It's almost like they have a will of their own. The closer they get, the stronger that magnet becomes, pulling them together easily and effortlessly, easier and easier until they touch. And when they touch, just take a nice deep breath in and close your eyes. That's right. Good. Now just if they haven't touched already, just go ahead and put them together. Now imagine yourself surrounded by everyone in your life that you love. Everyone that you love and everyone that loves you. Send your love out to them and feel their love pouring back into you, filling you up, lifting you up. Very good. As you feel yourself surrounded by that love and support, imagine your hands squeezing together tighter. Imagine you've got super glue on your fingers that stick your hands together even tighter. Imagine, sense, and feel your hands merging and melting together like they're made of wax. That's right. When you're sure that your hands are completely stuck together, you can even try to pull them apart, but find they remain stuck together nice and tight. Very good. Know that from now on, from this day forward, that issue, that fear, that anxiety in your life, it simply begins to disappear. The harder you try to find it, the further away it goes. It leaves you confident that you can have life the way you choose to make it, in a powerful way, in a positive way. Because the truth is, every day you get better and better in every way. Now just imagine yourself in the near future to a moment where in the past that challenge used to be in your way. This time something's different. This time it's not there. This time you're confident, you're calm, you're relaxed, you feel good, and you flow through that experience in an empowering way. Fill those details in for yourself. What do you feel? What do you hear? What do you see? Just make it real in your mind in the way that's right for you. Very good. In a moment, I'll count from 1 to 3. And when I get to 3, your fingers will release and relax. Your eyes will open. You'll feel great. 1, 2, 3. Welcome back, Ralph.
Thank you,
and
man.
everyone else out there.
Holy cow, that was so good. Yeah, is that useful to play over and over again, or is that just like, oh,
Absolutely. You surely can. Yeah.
thank you. What a gift. That is
What did you notice, Ralph? What did you like about it?
the happiness, the happiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just,
The love.
yeah, the happiness, the love, the, the ease, the certainty, the peace of, I guess you call it peace of mind, the peace,
Yeah.
the kind of the amen of it all, like with certainty, amen means with certainty, like, like
Very, very nice.
it's done, that kind of thing.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah. I
thank
love that.
you. Holy cow, that was so good.
Yeah. You notice that we did kind of a whole series of mini experiences within there.
Yeah.
The first moment was your fingers moving together, and that like the body is the subconscious mind. So we're gaining rapport with the subconscious.
The body is the subconscious mind.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, that is big. I'm writing that one
So
down.
when we're imagining something, our body follows along and makes it happen. So your fingers move together. It's how people quit smoking or lose weight. You're connecting with that subconscious, with that body. You're imagining something and allowing it to happen. And then I brought you to this place where you're surrounded by love and connection.
Yeah.
It's so important to have those feelings. The original kind of beliefs, the self-limiting beliefs we make up, they are created typically by a negative situation. So something negative happens, a highly emotional experience that's negative happens. So we use positive emotions. I'll use love, gratitude, joy, all these positive emotions to eradicate the old belief. Now, and then I brought you to the future, to a place where you're doing something new, something that isn't typical. This is where we're actually doing that neurological reprogramming in the mind. We're creating a path so in the past, you have a trigger, it takes you to the old behavior. We are now taking that same trigger and mapping it over to the new behavior. And that's the neurological change work that we're doing there. It's called Hebb's law. It's a neurological law. The neurons that fire together wire together. So we're eradicating the old firing, and we're making the new path, the new superhighway eventually.
Oh, that is cool. When you work with entrepreneurs, can you talk a little bit about like, what I've noticed is, somebody solves a problem, like they get through some mountains, and then what's beyond the mountains, more mountains. You like, I was
Yeah.
just all with a coach that we shifted a lot of anxiety stuff, and she had her biggest month ever on money, and then she was talking and she was saying, but now I've got all these extra clients. I've got to work on fulfillment. Like I only have one person that helps me with this. I need to find another 18 kind of player because I don't want to have a bad person try to fulfill. So she had new problems. So
Yeah.
when you work with people and you work with entrepreneurs, can you just talk about, like, you solve one thing and then there's the next thing, and it's like life kind of isn't just then you get to kick back with your Mai Tai in the resort. You can go on vacation, but yeah, like the obstacles and then the next obstacles and then the journey and whatever else you want to talk about like that.
Yeah, that's a really great insight that you have there. And I like to think of it like an onion, right? So on the onion, on the outside, we have our problem, our issue, right? But the truth is, the issue is never really the issue. The issue is a symptom of whatever's deeper inside there. But we deal with that issue and we remove that layer. Now we got another layer inside. And the truth is, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So by hitting this, we're starting to affect your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
what my favorite way to work with a client is to work over a length of time and really get them, because usually they come with one kind of pressing thing like you talked about. So really get that dialed in for them so that they're feeling confident, they're moving forward, and then begin to look at every area of their life. So I like to work with people on their health. So that's their physical health, their mental health, their spiritual health, and really get that going. And then we look at their relationships, how they're connecting with their friends, their family, their kids, their spouse, themselves. And then we kick it into the career as well. So how can we get them really fulfilling their vision, living their purpose, living their passion? And sometimes that's all about creating habits, creating structures,
Yeah.
and getting out of your own way to let that happen.
Yeah.
So I like to look at it as a whole encompassing kind of comprehensive program where we're really getting your life on track. So that you're instead of climbing over and down the mountains, you're flying over the top.
Oh, nice. I like it. Man, I am so excited. I have so many cool ideas running through. One big one that I told you about a little bit when we met, that just, I have a feeling we're going to do some cool stuff together, because that is awesome. And it's so needed, because so many entrepreneurs and people that are just trying to do something big in the world, they it can feel like so much work, and they're going to do the work one way or the other, and they're not going to give up, and they're going to go for it because that's what really matters. They have a big enough reason why they're doing it. But it's really cool to be able to clear this inner stuff along the way, and then take these obstacles, and it turns into a big win. That if it didn't have the obstacle, it wouldn't have had this big win and become a better version of themselves, and then get to help other people. So I am super excited to know you. This is crazy cool.
Yeah, like I said, I was excited. We have some similar kind of experiences and interests, specifically around energy work that I would love to learn more about from you as well.
Oh, we got some. I'll definitely. We'll keep it going. So with you going through this, you're still learning anything you want to see about like I was watching Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks, go Hawks. They had a great game and they lost. They do a funny thing. I should ask you about this, but they were talking about Russell Wilson, the quarterback, and he's so positive. He said, "I love this stadium," and then they reminded him, that's the stadium in the Super Bowl where you threw the interception on the 1 yard line and lost the game in the last minute. And he looked at him funny, like he couldn't remember it. And the announcers, I love Chris Collinsworth and Al Michaels. They're like, yeah, him, Russell Wilson, and their coach, I forgot his name right now, but he said they're the most positive people, and they can't even remember the obstacles. They're like, they had a point when they were talking earlier, another game where they said when it's really tough and it looks like they're going to lose and it's coming down to the thing, they look at each other and go, "We love this stuff." They used a little bit of war language, but we love this stuff. And one thing that Russell Wilson has, they were talking, he has 10 coaches, like the mindset coach and the forms coach. Yeah. And so do you still have people you learn from, or you tell us a little bit about how what your your transformation, and any kind of if you could tell these entrepreneurs something that would now that they've shifted this thing and they can notice what is different, and they should be I think they should be working with you. And anything else about your transformation and your journey and working with people and keeping on learning and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I absolutely love coaching. And when I say that, I mean working with my own coach. So I love coaching other people too, but for me, it has been coaches helping me that has brought me to where I am. And so right now I have 2 sets of coaches. I'm working with a mastermind group, and that's one coach who's kind of guiding us all. And then I'm also doing some further training on a different form of NLP. That's a pretty much an intensive master course that's going on for about 2.5 months. So I'm always learning. My goal is to really be the best at what I do, and I'm pretty good at it. So I think that the more that I learn, the better I'm going to get, the more powerful results I can bring to my clients. And that's what it's about to me, is getting people to that place where they're like Superman, flying over the mountains, where they have that, where they are in control, they're empowered. We start out with, people often come to me because of their anxiety, but then they stick around because of the results that they get, not just in letting go of the anxiety, but the powerful results that they just get in their life. Like you're talking about with Russell and all the coaches that he uses. Like, that's the secret weapon of really high performing people, is they use coaches, and the really high performers are using hypnosis coaches, because that's getting at that subconscious part of them that a conscious mind just really can't get to.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I've got a mindset group of coaches that I'm working with, and a group that I'm a mastermind group, and then my own individual coach, couple of them. So yeah, that's so valuable. I was watching somebody. It was one of those people that have done really well to help coaches learn to grow their businesses. And he posted something that millionaires don't use astrologers, but billionaires do. And I thought, well, that's cool. And so it's like playing in that subconscious, energetic world of infinite possibilities. I think that's such a valuable, super fast way to like get things to shift. And then yet you still got to do the business stuff and do the actual work and find the people to help you. So it's been quite a journey. I totally agree with you. And you do it. It's so awesome to know you. So what, can you put in in fact, I can go get it real quick. I'm going to go get your page, because the best place for people to find you is to go to your Facebook.
Yeah. If you go to my Facebook page, is a really great place. So my social media handle is the same on LinkedIn or Instagram or Facebook or any other one out there if it comes along. And that will be at Joshua Ray, Rey Peters. So if you go at Joshua Ray Peters, that's how you can find me across all the social medias. Okay. And my website is integratedhypnosis.com.
Integratedhypnosis.com. Cool. I'm going to, somebody said, love it.
Yeah, I'd love to connect with people. Like if any of the viewers out there have questions, just reach out. I love talking about and answering questions and sharing what knowledge that I have, kind of giving value to people. It's about empowering others and really becoming the best versions of ourselves that we can be. That's
awesome. So I just shared them on the Facebook, and I'll put them on the YouTube. So integratedhypnosis.com and Facebook / Joshua Ray, Rey Peters. And
that's it.
Yeah. And it's integratedhypnosis.com. Oh, there it is. It's popping up. Okay, great. Awesome. So yeah, so whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook or listening on a podcast, just leave a comment, click like or share, whatever you can do on that platform, because it lets more people see it. And if you found this helpful, let us know. Let us know what changed for you. And send Joshua a message, send me a message. I'll give you our contact info, and share it, because this message can help a lot of people. And right now we need a lot of this help in the world right now. And like 2014 was a tough year for me and Joshua and a lot of other people. And right now we're in a giant opportunity. Some would call it a disaster. But like one of my favorite authors, Ryan Holiday, says, don't waste this disaster. So, so these problems bring up the big questions, and then you have to go deep and find out what's really important. And that's what I've noticed for myself and my clients, and Joshua's noticed it for himself and his clients. So there's a big opportunity to change something in us and then do what we're here to do. So let's heal yourself and heal the world. And yeah, reach out to Joshua Ray Peters. It's on Facebook or Instagram and all those places, Integrated Hypnosis. And it was awesome having you. And thank you for that gift. That gift. You know,
Yeah, absolutely, Ralph. Just my last words that I want to just say is the number one thing you can do to really amplify your life is to invest in yourself.
That's so true. Yep. Yeah, that is really true. And you'll know it when it hits your heart, like, oh, that's the thing. That's the thing. So thank you
Yep.
for that. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording. Good night, good day, good morning to everybody.
Bye, everyone.